Hello and welcome back to the channel. This is my third video that I'm doing called Expo Router from the docs, where I'm trying to go through the documentation and show you how to build the basic components for some standard UI flows. So you have the stack navigator, you have the tab navigator, and finally we're going to do the drawer navigator. What motivated me to do this is if you take a look at navigating between pages and then you scroll down and you look at layouts and UI, and then you scroll down and they say here's how built-in layouts, and let's go to drawer, and like this is kind of helpful. And then it says here, go to drawer navigator, you'll need some extra dependencies, and then they drop you here inside of React navigation. But I'm going to kind of wrap all this up together into one video that I'll show you how to build a drawer navigator inside your application. So please make sure you like and subscribe, share this with your friends if you find it helpful, and let's get to the code. So here's the basic command that I'm using to get started. And so what this says in a nutshell is we're going to use the latest version of Create Expo app. We're going to use a blank template. We want to make sure we use SDK49, and I'm naming my app Drawer Expo Router. Now let's get this started. All right, so let's change into our products. Let's cd Drawer Expo Router. And then we're going to install the default dependencies that you need. So we'll just copy these. So we're in the directory, and so let's do an npx expo install. And so you can see it's installing the SDK49 compatible modules. Now, if we go back to I think let me just create a separate tab because we're going to be hopping back and forth between the different installations. The layout routes and scroll down to drawers. And you see they say there's an extra set of dependencies that we need to install. So let's copy them. Let's add those. And now we have those. And then see here, it's kind of confusing because they say you need to add this plugin, but you have to remember we've got to go back to the original installation and make sure we add kind of the basics that you need just to get Expo Router working. So let's start here, and then we'll jump after we get all the way through this process. Then we'll jump over to the navigator specific, the drawer specific requirements, and we'll start to add those. So let's open up in Visual Studio Code. Okay, so if we go back to the instructions, it says this is we need to add the new entry point. So let's copy that and go back here. Let's go to our package JSON and add our main, replace that main with our main. Okay, step one. Step two, let's add our scheme. We're not doing web, so I'm not going to worry about that. So we're going to add our scheme inside of our app JSON. So let's go in here and let's go to our app JSON. And right under here, we're going to add our scheme to be this. So we'll say, I'll copy this, and then we'll paste it in, and we'll just remove the hyphens. So that's the scheme for our app. And then we need to add this additional plugin. So let's add that in Babel or Babel, however you say. And so let's add this plugin. And then let's go back. We're using above 49, so we're good. All right, so now let's hop over to the drawer and see what else we need to do. So we already installed these extra plugins, these extra dependencies, but we need to add this additional plugin. So let's add this additional plugin. And let's go back here, and so we'll paste that here in the front. Let's save. Okay, let's see what else we're supposed to be up to. So we've added that, and then now we're like dropping straight into kind of the layout, but we want to do our layout a little bit different. So we're going to continue with kind of this default setup that you get with a app index, and we're going to put a default app index in there. So let's copy this. Let's go over here. first of all, you notice there's no app folder, so let's create our app folder. All the files need to go inside of app folder, and so let's do an index.js. Let's paste this default code in here. And let's just do a quick run to make sure that we have npm run. That we have kind of our environment working appropriately. All right, so we have our environment basically working. All right, so let's take a look at where the documentation is leading us, so we can get an idea. All right, so now we're here. So the pattern that we're going to follow is that we want to manage our drawers separate in a group. And so since we're managing it separate in a group, we need to put our layout in that group. And so how we're going to get started with that, let's go back to our code, and then inside of app up here, we're going to create a group. Remember, a group's a folder with the parentheses around it, and we're going to call this drawer. And then what we're going to do inside of our drawer is we need to put an app layout inside of here. Let me stop calling it app layout. We need to put a layout inside of here. So let's create a folder, a file called layout.js, and then in here we need to kind of describe what is going to be drawn when this route is hit. And so let's take a look here at this documentation. So they kind of stop here with this. So as I said, I went through this already, and I kind of have an approach to what I do. All right, so we're going to take this layout information and add it to ours. So we're going to copy this, and then we're going to come in here, and then inside of our layout, because this layout is inside of the drawer, we're going to basically say we want to have a drawer. But as you know, we need to put stuff inside of our drawer. Let's start with the basics, which is going to be that we're going to set some screen options. And in our screen options, we're just going to say header shown. It's going to be false because we're going to let the pages manage that. And then we create screens in a drawer similar to the way that we do with the tabs. If you haven't seen my tabs video, you can go back to that and then you'll see the analogy. So if we come in here and we say drawer screen, right? And we're going to do one, they call them drawer, I call it side menu. We're going to do one menu item at a time, okay? Because once you get one done, the rest of them just kind of build on top of that. So for this drawer screen, we need to have some options. And so what we're going to do is we're going to call our top level, well, our first menu item home. And that needs to have some specific options. So let's do options. And then for those options, we're going to set the drawer label. Very similar to tabs. Like I said, check out the other video and you'll see just how similar it is. And then the title, we'll also set that to home. So we have one drawer menu that we want to have showing up. And then now what we want to do is, once again, similar to tabs, inside of my drawer, just so I can have some sort of structure, I'm going to create another folder. And this folder is going to be called home. And that's going to basically manage the navigation stack for everything underneath the home menu item. So because that's what it's doing, what we have to kind of remember, it's going to require another layout inside of this folder. So let's go inside of our home folder. We need to do two things. We need to add a screen, and then we need to add a layout. So first what we'll do for a screen is we'll just copy this screen. So we have a default page that'll render when you're in the home route, and that's this index. And we'll just call this home page for now. And then inside of here, we also need a layout. So let's add a new layout. And inside of our home layout, we're going to keep it really simple. I think all we're going to do is just set it up to kind of manage a stack. And Expo Router. And then what we want to do here is we're just going to do export default function. And we're going to call this home layout. We'll do a bunch of typing this first time around, and then what we will do is for the, I didn't even finish typing, and what we'll do for the other menu item, we'll just basically cut and paste our way through that. So this is our home layout, and then it just returns the stack. And the last thing we need to do now is let's go to our index and basically what we're going to have it do is just redirect. Let me import redirect from Expo Router, and then it has an href, and then its href is going to be our drawer, drawer/home. And then when we go there, by default, it will render the index route. So now you can see we're on the home page, which is our index route. Well, I'll just say home page for drawer. So now we have our home page for drawer, and there's my menu home, which isn't very helpful until we add another menu item. So let's add another menu item. And you'll see the reason why I said let's just do the first one and copy it is because after you do the first one, you just copy it and it's straightforward. So we have our home, so let's copy that. Let's call this one settings. We'll just kind of follow along the same approach we did with tabs. And then let's copy the layout and the index and paste them inside of settings. Did I absorb something? Home, settings, layout copy. So this is settings layout. So actually I don't know why I got two of them in here. So, and let's delete this. So we have our settings, we have our layout. Also, why did I copied everything? So let's delete this index copy. And then this is our index, and then this is our settings page. Settings page for drawer. Oh, I got to update my layout to include my other menu items. So we can just copy all of this and change this name to settings. Drawer label settings and title settings. Okay. Things are acting a little funky, so when things act funky, I just do a rebuild. So let's stop the server. Let's restart everything. Okay. And so now I have my home menu, and then this is my settings menu. So my side menu, drawer, whatever you call it, is working as we expected. Then the next thing to do is let's fix the title across the top, and then let's also add the menu button that we're all used to seeing here. And so the way that we could do that is we can just specify there's a new component called drawer toggle button. And what we'll do is we'll set that on our screen. So here's our screens, and then we have options, and so we're going to say header left, and then we want that to return this new component, and that component is, as I said, drawer toggle button, and we want to put it on both of these. Let's refresh, and we still have, the reason why it's missing is because up here we say header shown is false, because we're managing the header being shown inside the actual component. So what we can do is we can go inside of each one of our components. Might be a better way to do it. Sometimes I just like to be thorough and have the code kind of reflect exactly what's happening. So if I go inside of here, and right now we're going to do some more styling on this, so I'm going to kind of wrap this and add. So for now, let's put a view around here. Like I said, we're going to style this up a little bit more in a second from some styles that I've already have set up. Let's import the view. Let's add our drawer screen. And then in here, let's say options, header shown. And let's go to my index here. Actually, let's just copy the whole layout that we have set up. Copy index, copy settings page. Let's import our drawer. Let's import our view. Let's make sure we imported our drawer inside the, we don't need this. There's our index setting, drawer. All right. And let's also set our title here. and this is home. Why is, oh, so home page. Oh yeah, I need this, my bad. I need this, I need this option inside of the actual index page, because the header, this header shown here is saying false. So unless I'm going to change headers shown true direct, like I probably could put it all in here, but like I said, I like to keep it clear like what's happening when I get inside the screen. So that's why I put it here. It's just my preference. Well, let's format that. Let's get this imported. Like, why is, oh, because I'm on my settings page. So let's swipe this over, go to settings, and you see I have the settings menu appearing there. So let's take this now and move this over and get the same thing on our home page. Let's format this, header shown, and then down here, I think I copied a little too much. We already have that. We just need this toggle button. Let's put our comma there. Let's format, and then let's import our toggle button. And then there we have our home, our settings. I missed the title. So it's settings, we haven't set the title, so let's go back in here. Header shown true. So we have our home, settings, and then we have our drawer kind of popping out as we expected it to do. One other thing is that, like, you see how you can swipe that over? I don't like that, and so there's a way to remove that. And what you can do is you can go back to your drawer layout here, and you could set another option here, which is swipe edge width. And if you set that to 0, there's no edge for anyone to grab, so you can't swipe it open anymore. All right, so it just kind of functions as what I kind of see is the normal way to function. All right, so what else is interesting that we can do? Well, like I said, I have some basic styling for the page, so let me kind of add the basic styling for the page. The page looks a little bit more normal. Okay, so let's go to our index and put this little simple, not that index, our settings index. A little style sheet down here. Let's make sure we import style sheet, and let's put some style in our view. So just styles. All right, so that looks a little bit better. And let's kind of move this over to our other page. So this is settings. Let's go into home, index, drop this, import, and then up here add the style. And let me fix that settings because it says home page, and so this should say settings page for drawer, and then home should say home page for drawer, and we got a little bit of style. Let's do another little bit of cleanup here. Let's put some icons on our drawer items. Is we go into our layouts here, and the first thing we need to do is get some icons, and so let's import some icons. So we could say import ion ICONS from Expo vector icons, ion icons. And then on each one of these screens, there's an option for the icon. And so we can say drawer icon, and then it's going to be a function. And you get past a couple of properties with that, but you get size and you get color. We're just going to return an ion icon. And so ion icons, and then we are going to return for, let's do its name. We'll say home, and we will use, actually I stand corrected, we're going to use the size, default size that's passed into us, so we're not going to change the size at all, and the default color. Same, format that. Let's take a quick look and see what that looks like. Oh, my bad, this is default. All right, So we have our home icon, and then we'll do the exact same thing down here. Or why is this still down here? We don't want this down here, so let's remove that. And let's copy this drawer icon. Let's bring it down here, put under options, and it's called settings. So let's just see if we have an MD settings. And so we have our settings. And so now we have our basic drawer, settings, home. Now that we're in this home stack here, if you want to go to another page, how do we get to another page? So let's quickly do that. And we'll start with this page as a kind of a default page. So we can just kind of cut and paste it. And so we have our index page. Let's copy, paste, rename, next page. So we come in here and we're going to call this next page. We don't need any of this drawer screen stuff because we don't want we're not going to have our toggle item available. We're not going to have our menu available in the nested pages, and so this is our detail page, or sorry, this is our next page for home drawer. So what we want to be able to do is we want to be able to go from our index page, and we're just going to keep it simple and use the link. So we'll drop a new line, we'll say next page, and then we will wrap this in a link. We will set the href. Let's import our link. We're missing our view down here. Link, link, link. I thought I imported it. Let's go again. There we go. So unmatched route can't be found. App drawer, home, next page, home, index, next page. Maybe I don't need this app in the front there. My bad. Drawer, home. Oh, I deleted that. I'll need the JS there. So we can navigate to our next page, and we can go back to home. And let me just fix this spelling. Where did I see that spelling error? Next page, next page. That's where it was. Home, next page for the home drawer. So I think we've covered the gist of what we wanted to cover here, which is how to set up your drawer, how to get the navigation stack going inside your drawer. As you can see, we have this navigation stack going inside the drawer, and we have kind of two different items in our side menu. So hopefully you found this helpful. Please make sure you like and subscribe, leave comments below, and I will talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.